India is not like any other country in the world, and this video has 11 proofs to prove it. We actually have been to India. If you want to check out our travel vlogs there will be a link in our pinned comment down below. Check it out. Epic.
Let's see how we can relate to this video, being people who've gone.
Will they show Karnataka? Because that's where we went.
Yes. Simple question for you. Who doesn't love traveling? Well, I sure
love
do.
it.
And I've been to a lot of different countries. But there's one that will stick with me forever. India.
Oh.
Like I said, I'm pretty well traveled. I like to go abroad at least
making
once a year, so I've got a lot of trips under my belt. But when a friend told me that I just have to see
Is this
India,
even about India,
well,
or is
that's
he
exactly
just
what I did.
bragging?
I went in September, the last month of the summer monsoon. It was pretty dry and sunny, but with short rains here and there. The perfect weather for a traveler, if you ask me. Being the confident and well-experienced globetrotter that I am.
What the heck is this video?
I thought I was ready for anything. Boy, was I
I'm just
wrong.
so cool.
The colors, the contrasts, the pace, the people, everything hit me like a ton of bricks and didn't let go even when I was already back home.
And since
As
I'm
soon
such
as
a
I stepped out of
well-traveled
the
person,
airport,
I really...
felt dizzy. It could have been the heat, the jet lag, or the hunger in my belly. I assumed it was the latter, so I decided to head out for some authentic Indian food as soon as I throw my bags in my hotel room. Now, the food there deserves a big shout out. First of all,
Very
Indians
tasty.
eat very little meat. In fact, they have the lowest meat consumption
There's
per
indeed a lot of
person
veggie
in the
dishes you
world.
can get there.
Most of their dishes are vegetarian, and meat is replaced with soy meat. This is mostly because 80% of the population is Hindu. Probably like you, I'd always heard that Hinduism requires a strictly vegetarian diet, but that's not the case. It's just because they believe not eating
That's quite the
they bring
upload.
to other living beings. That's definitely one of the things I learned during my travels, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Very cool.
Another thing about food in India is that it's all heavily spiced. That
Indeed
comes
it
as no
is.
surprise, really, since India is well known across the world as the biggest spice producer and exporter. But there's one region
I
that
don't know if,
stands
like,
out exclusively in this
Typically
regard,
people know that's
the
fact,
state of
but
Kashmir.
they know there's a lot
It's
of
home
spices
to the
for
most
sure.
valuable spice ever, saffron. Sure, this flower isn't unique to India. It also grows in Iran and Spain. Kashmir, however,
Interesting.
I did not know that,
produces the highest quality and the most expensive saffron in the world. The town of Pampur is literally built around saffron fields. There are actually 3 varieties cultivated there. There's Mongra, the most expensive one, that costs about $1,600 a pound.
Wow.
Then you've got Lacha, which, interesting enough, is less pricey at $1,000 per pound.
Oh, that's
Yet
it.
saffron
Easy.
farmers say it's the purest. And finally, there's Zarda. It's the cheapest, but only compared to other varieties, because
think that's the one you'd
$250 a
get, like,
pound
in, like,
isn't
those
exactly what I
mountains.
call cheap.
Spice
Anyway, India's spice game is definitely on point.
On
So
point.
I found a good place to eat, and as soon as I saw the menu, I remembered that Indian is also famous for its large variety of teas, or as the locals call it, chai.
We did
You
not
should
get any
see
tea.
the
No.
sheer number
Just
of
some fruit tea.
options. I never thought there could be that many types of tea. If you're a tea drinker, I'm sure you know Darjeeling and Assam. But have you ever heard of
Not a tea drink.
Karnataka or Kangra? Does Munnar ring a bell? I don't blame
Munnar,
you.
that's the
I had
city
no
we wanted to
idea
go
that
to.
these
And
kinds
the
exist
province we
either,
went to was
and
another
those
tea.
are just the tea-producing regions. There's even more once you get into the types of chai by adding particular spices
Heard
and
that, like,
herbs.
every
Take, for example,
vendor that
masala
sells
chai,
chai sells
which
them
is made
different,
with
or they
cinnamon,
make 'em different.
ginger, cloves,
Cool.
and herbs. I personally fell in love with butter tea. It's so thick and creamy. I could drink it by the gallon. Basically, you take tea
Nice
leaves, some
description
butter,
there.
hot water, and salt. Mix it all up and thank me later. With a full belly and plenty of chai pumping through my veins, I was ready for some sightseeing. I landed in New Delhi, so I spent the rest of the day walking
to
around and
Bangalore
taking in
and
all the
Mangalore.
sights.
Yes.
Whenever I go abroad, I like to carry a
Epic
little
vlogs you
phrase
can
book
check
in the
out.
local language. Well, if you ever find yourself in India, you're gonna need a really big book because there are actually 22 officially recognized languages there.
That's cool.
English is among them, so I was okay just sticking to that. But those 22 official languages are just a drop in the huge linguistic ocean of the country. By different accounts, there are from 122 to 300
Gee.
major languages spoken in India, as well as up to 1,600 lesser-known ones.
What the heck?
Basically, if you travel from one town to another, you'll hear people talking a different language. And if you happen to go to another state, you can forget everything you might have learned in your previous location. How they manage to communicate with each other is still beyond me. New Delhi was awesome, I wish I could talk more about it, but I had a lot to see. I did find time to take a train up to Amritsar and see the Golden Temple. How do I even begin
We're
to
actually
describe
planning
it?
to go
The
there.
whole thing is covered in gold
We had a very
and
crazy
sits in
India
the middle of a
trip
huge
planned.
pool of water. This is where the
Sadly, we took it a bit
tradition of
slower.
langar takes place. Langar is a vegetarian meal that's given to any and everyone who comes to the temple, regardless of their background or beliefs. Just imagine, the Golden Temple provides a free meal to over 50,000 people a day. And on special occasions, it can feed up to 200,000. I got a free meal
That's
too,
crazy.
and it was really delicious. You can volunteer there as well. I did just that because I was in so much awe about the place, I didn't want to leave. What I actually regret is that I didn't get to see the Kumbh Mela in action. It's one of the greatest celebrations of India, and apparently it's a sight to behold. In 2011, so many pilgrims gathered in one place that the whole congregation of 75 million
my
people was even
God.
visible from space. This year, it's taking place from January until early March.
Bit outdated.
So if you've seen it with your own eyes, just know that I'm so jealous. In fact, whatever India does, it does it on a huge scale. For
A
example,
lot of people.
it
Yeah.
has the largest number of post offices in the world. Wherever
Oh.
you go, you'll stumble upon one literally on every corner. The irony of this is that it
Not a
doesn't
post
really
office,
help the
that's a
situation
mailbox.
with delivery times. One Indian guy told me it's totally normal to wait for your package to be delivered in 2 weeks' time, even if it was sent from a nearby town. But hey, patience is a virtue. But
We
it
got a
doesn't
lot of
stop
Zomato
there.
delivered pretty
India
efficiently.
places
Yeah.
third in terms of the
we
number of
did.
Guinness World Record holders, the world's fastest nose typer, the most expensive wedding ever held, and the most selfies taken together are just a few of the bizarre world records held in this country.
Big.
What else? The largest railroad network in the world? Check. Well, almost, since the United States does technically have more. But anyway, India has built over
weird way to
3.5
say it.
million
Yeah.
miles of railroads, which, considering the smaller size of the country, still means easier transit within and between different locations.
We're
Yeah.
planning on riding some trains, but we never
With
did.
that in mind, it shouldn't really be a huge surprise that Indian Railways is also the largest employer in the world. It has over 1 million employees.
Jeez.
And considering the country's extensive railway network, these people are scattered throughout India. From the smallest villages to the biggest cities, the number of jobs grows every year. So it looks like you could always get a job there if you're looking for employment in India. Anyway,
Good to know.
what can I say about my final impressions? I was blown away, and I seriously didn't want to leave this fascinating place. Visiting it was like going to a whole new world for me. I tried to get as many souvenirs as I could, but I almost forgot one important thing. If you ever go there, by the way, you'd better remember it too. No one is allowed to take India's national currency in or out of the
Oh
country.
my
It's
God.
actually against the law, so make sure you change your money before you cross the border. I almost made this mistake, but a friendly local told me to exchange my rupees at the airport, and off I went, headed back home with my suitcase full of exotic stuff and my head pulsing with impressions.
Heck yeah. Bonus?
Bonus? They-
Well, that happened.
yeah. USB.
Wow.
Oh.
Can you tell me anything else about India that I missed? I'm definitely going to go.
That we were in Mangalore and Bangalore, and you should check it out on our vlog channel. Link in the description.
Oh yeah, India, pretty frackin' snazzy.
There's just so many things in India. Even the one state in India that we went to, that how much diversity between Mangalore and Bangalore there is. And imagine going to a different state or different province.
Yeah, just and how big it is going from like nearby states to possibly a state that's like all the way up in the Himalayas or something. Be completely different.
We got a lot of India to explore, and we'll be there again one of these months.
But until then, we'll just be watching some videos on India.
Heck yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Bye.